Oh
that one's
God.
drilled deep to right field.
Hurts going deep for it all. Devontae Smith.
He has been fantastic in this fourth.
Wow.
A break in on goal, and he scores.
To another episode of Two Mics All Sports. I'm your host Zach Chavey with my co-host Joe Broll. What's going on, man?
What's up, Zach?
How you doing?
Don't even start that. No, we ain't asking how we feeling after the shit we watched last night and the shit we watched live in the link Thursday and the shit we watched Saturday night, which should have been a great 3 days in Philly, turned out to be fucking terrible. I'm not even in a good mood. I wasn't even that good of a mood Sunday night because I wasn't even on the pod. I couldn't even talk. I felt embarrassed to be a part of these fan bases after what I saw. But fuck it. The Phillies play tomorrow. They're going to fucking beat the shit out of the Dodgers with Nola. And Eagles are going to kill the Giants on Thursday night. That's all I know.
I appreciate the optimism. I think it's tough for me right now to be optimistic, but I think it's great that you have optimism. I'm still trying to get on that. But for today's episode especially, we are going to talk about the one team that hasn't pissed us off yet. We're going to be talking some hockey. So for our hockey fans, we're finally giving you what you want. We're finally getting into that topic. Me and Joe are big hockey guys. So we're mostly just going to give a Flyers preview, what we expect, what are our expectations for them as a whole. And, obviously with them being in still rebuilding mode, not crazy expectations, but stuff we want to see so we can be excited for this season and seasons to come. So first, we're going to start it off bat. Obviously, Danny Briere was aggressive this offseason. He brought in a great guy in Trevor Zegras. What were your thoughts on that move as a whole?
I loved it. I felt like everybody knew the start he could have been, if not for injuries or being on a team like the Ducks, who hasn't really had stepping grounds. They're also in that rebuild phase. We've had trades with them in the past with Cutter, Bitch, Gauthier. Get that guy. I'm so happy he ain't a Flyer. But now he's back with Drysdale. I think it's going to be a good pair. Even if they don't end up on the same line some nights, it's still good. It's a young core. You have your veterans like Konechny and Couture, who's always going to help them out. But you got Mitchkov, Drysdale, and Zegras, who are good. Two of them have been riddled by injuries in years past. So I feel like if they have a nice, healthy year, Zegras, I'm thinking, will re-sign with Philly, depending on how he does, because I feel like he resembles Philly. He has that swagger attitude. You saw when he got traded here, he was happy. It's a fresh start. The Flyers took a chance on him. A lot of teams were scared to go out and get him from Anaheim because of these injuries, but Big Balls Briere decided going, hey, fuck it. We know what this kid could be. We know his potential. We're going to get him, like they did with Mishkov a couple years ago in the draft, and not worry about what could happen in the next 2 years. We're going to build around these kids now so that when they do get to that all-star and they're a veteran and they're foot in the door in the NHL, we're looking at a playoff push in a couple years.
Yeah. I think it's a great move bringing in Zegras because the risk-reward it evens itself out, and if he's not great, then you can maybe re-sign him for cheap. But if he's good, Howie Roseman has made a living off of getting these guys on the last year of their contract, and it seemed to work. Either pays them or lets them go. But Danny Briere, he seems aggressive. Like you said, no one else going to give Zegras a chance, and we gave him a chance, and he still has so much left. He was a 20-goal scorer every year when he was healthy, and I still think he can be that. And he's moving back to center, so just imagine him on a line with him, Matvey, and Travis Konechny. That's a dangerous top three right there, in my opinion. I think all of them will be able to really play well, and I think, like I said, the risk-reward really evens itself out because he could be a mainstay and a main piece of your team. And obviously, I think something that really is important, you reconnect him with a guy in Jamie Drysdale who he's been teammates with before. Those guys have an instant connection. They're best buddies. So you bring them back. They had that chemistry already. It's only going to make it better. And it honestly seems like the past few years we've went to Anaheim and got some of our best talent. So I hope it continues with Zegras. But let me ask you this. What are you expecting for the team as a whole? Like, is there anything in particular that you're really expecting the Flyers to hit on this season?
I'm really expecting them. I know they're not like it could be a threat. Like it's a young core. We've seen it happen before. The young guys might push toward the late seasons. They might catch energy toward the end, catch that ride, momentum, however you want to call it, and maybe get in a wild card. I doubt it. Like I said, it's in the rebuild phase. Danny Briere said it. They're not looking for a win now. They're looking for winning multiple in the future, which I love. But I think their main goal this year is the power play. They were ranked 30th on the power play last year. One of the worst in the league, not converting on almost most of them. And I feel like bringing in Zegras is going to help out with Matt Bay, Konechny, and it's going to help give more threats than just those two. And it'll be a lot harder to defend, especially now that you got faster skaters too. So I think the power play and power play kill are going to be crucial for the Flyers this year. And I think we're going to see a lot better numbers than we did the past few seasons. It's been one of the droughts in this young Flyers team for a few years.
Yeah. And I like that you bring up the power play because what I've noticed the past couple of years, and you probably noticed this too, just being a fan in general, they are really good on the penalty kill. Like, they've been really good on the penalty kill, like, the past few years with this core. But they're, like you said, their power play has to be one of the worst, if not the worst in the league. They just have no connection. Because back in the day when they had Giroux, Wade Simmons, Voracek, Couturier then, they had the tic-tac-toe, the work they were able to go back and forth. It was easy like that, and they put JVR in front of the net. Now they just don't have those guys. But they're building chemistry, and they're getting better as players as a whole. So, as a whole, these players are going to get better. They're going to improve on the power play, but I think this year they really have to make a difference, I think, in the power play because it's really been bad the past couple years, and I think they need to get at least into the middle of the pack and then maybe go get a guy in free agency or via trade that is that mainstay, like not obviously an Ovechkin, but like a piece like that who you know what his role is on the power play, and he can be that goal scorer for you on the power play. So, but let me ask you this. What do you think of our goalie situation right now, and what do you think possibly could happen with Earson? And I don't think he's the future goaltender of this team. I don't know if you feel that way, but just how are you feeling about the goalie situation in general?
I've been saying like Erson's a good goalie. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a starter. He's a backup. We saw he was a good backup behind Hart. You need to go get a goalie. Goaltending is what's going to win. Somebody who can face 30 shots a night and let up 3-4 goals isn't going to win you games. Or a goalie who will give you 30 shots, maybe only allow one, like in 4 games, and then give up those 2, 3, 4 goals within the next 2 or 3 and not staying consistent. That's the thing. Ersson was consistent, don't get me wrong, he'll be here and there, but then he got hurt, and then you would have to go with your backups and Kolosov and all them, but they're not that good. They're big, don't get me wrong, but you got to be fast, you got to have reflexes, and that's just some of the stuff that I feel like they don't have. Ersson has the skills to be one, but I just don't think he's a set starter.
Yeah, I agree. And perfect example is the Florida Panthers with Sergei Bobrovsky. He's easily one of their best, if not their best player on their team, and he's just an amazing goaltender. He's been has been the main reason they went back to back Stanley Cup, because really Florida was like a fringe playoff team before they got him, and as soon as they got him, they really got into championship contention, and the reason why they've been in 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, winning 2 of them. So, but I think, yeah, Earson is an amazing backup. We saw that when Carter Hart was still in the fold. He was great as a backup, but then as soon as he had to step into that starter role, I feel like it's tough for him because, like, he's a goalie, like you said, he's very off and on when he's healthy. He's really good for a good span of things, a good span of weeks, and then a few weeks, he's one of the worst goaltenders in the league. That makes sense for a backup goaltender, and that's what his role was on this team. They traded Fedotov to Columbus, I believe, and they brought in Dan Vladar from the Calgary Flames. So obviously they know that they know that the future goaltender. I hope they think the future goaltender's not here yet. They got to find that eventually, but it remains to be seen. Obviously, it's tough to find goaltenders. You got to really develop guys, or you just got to bring in the right guy at the right time. And looking at the free agent class for next year, there's not many good guys, so they're gonna. I feel like you build the rest of the team, I guess, and then you got to find that goaltender, kind of what like the Eagles did. Like they build their foundation, and then they got that missing piece, obviously in Marga last year. I know the goaltender is a major position, but I feel like if you can build the foundation of your offense, your defense, and then your team chemistry, and just build that team culture, you bring in the goaltender that fits it perfectly, and you saw it with the Florida Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky was that missing piece and got them to the Stanley Cup. Maybe that's what the Flyers need to do. Maybe they need to follow that philosophy. So, but obviously, a new head coach is in the fold with Rick Tocchet. What are you expecting out of him this season?
I'm expecting Torts was heavy on, I would say, fun. Like, obviously, the guys are feeling better. They didn't have the hellscape like they had the past few years with Torts on the first day of camp. They didn't have to skate laps. They actually had pucks on the ice. That was a big thing in the first day of training camp this year. I think it's going to be more structural. They're going to have more room. Like Mishkov, we saw him get benched last year because of his flashiness. I think that's like good hard hockey is what wins you games, but you still need some of that flash and some of that like pizzazz to just go out there and have like that swagger on you to go score these goals and to go help you win these games and just create plays that will be harder for the team to stop.
Yeah, I think he's a player's coach, so we've seen that work sometimes. We haven't seen it work sometimes, but like you said, it already seems like he's connecting with these players and like really making sure that he knows what these players like to do and like what natures to them better, like what they ultimately like to do is what they're doing, and he's trying to build that instant connection. I think that's great because as a player's coach, you're played the game. Obviously, he was in a different era of hockey, but hockey is always going to remain the same. It's that physical, tough sport that you need to be equipped for, and it takes a lot of effort. And although it's only 82-game season, it takes a lot out of you because with the consistent putting the equipment on, skating back and forth, the hits, everything that happens during a season, he understands that, and I feel like he's really been able to connect so far from what I've seen with these players. And I think if he continues to do that throughout the regular season, we'll be really excited by the end of the year with this Flyers team and their future ahead. So, but let me ask you this. Give me 3 players that you think could be real X factors or just players in general that you're really excited to see and could be mainstays of this team and part of the future core?
Definitely, obviously, we'll get them out of the way. Mishkov and Zegras, I feel like those two are obvious just because of how young they are and the bar for them and their ceiling is so high. I think these two are people you can build the team around. Now, my third, I'm going to say Erson. If he has that good year and solidifies himself as a starter in this league, you are looking at maybe a couple more years of Erson as your goaltender and hopefully a playoff and Stanley Cup winning team in the next, 3-5 years.
Yeah. I'm going to go a little bit of a different path, although I think those are 3 great answers. I'm going to give my first answer to Owen Tippett. He really had a good 2023 season and then kind of backtracked last year. I think he needs to have a big year because he's been great for us. He was a diamond in the rough in that Claude Giroux trade when we got him from Florida, and I think he could be a 30-goal scorer this year, and I think he can really be the mainstay of this offense, can be the engine that runs everything. And I think he's great. His athleticism is through the roof. His ability to move the puck is insane. The spinoramas, he's insane when he has the puck on his stick, and I think he's going to be great this year. I'm liking Jet Luchenko. Obviously, he was a rookie last year, got to play the first few games of the season. He's on the roster this year, so I think I'm expecting a great sophomore year for him, or honestly his first year because he only played a few games. I think he can be a really good mainstay in this lineup. I think he'll be great. And then, honestly, I'm going to go to the defense with Jamie Drysdale. He has been great, in my opinion, ever since he got here from Anaheim. Him and Zegras, I think, are going to be great just working in the offensive zone. They already have that connection, and I think Jamie Drysdale could be our leading goal scorer when it comes to defensemen. I think he could be really good this year. He has to stay healthy. Obviously, Cam York is going to start the year missing the first 4 or 5 games, I believe, so that's going to be a tough blow. But I think Jamie Drysdale can emerge himself as his number one defenseman in the defensive line. So I'm really excited to see out of him. But just overall, obviously it's tough to give a record prediction, but at the end of the season, where could you see this hockey team being?
Low, toward the bottom of the league, if not low middle of the pack. Like we said, like Danny said, you're not looking at this isn't a team that's going to win now. They are built in the whole Flyers organization, front office, and bringing a cup to this city within the next future. Like I would say, 5 years. It's a plan.
Yeah.
You got your guy to build the team around in Mitch Goff. So you do what you can. I feel like they're going to be like the Capitals. They got their guy in Ovechkin. They built around him. And we saw how good they could be. The Penguins did it with Crosby. They got Crosby, built the team around him. Boom. They win cups.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Mitchkov, people were saying if Connor Bedard wasn't in that draft, he would have gone first overall in most drafts. But every team before us wasn't really forward heavy, or like a forward heavy in general, like especially right wing, which he plays. So he fell right into our laps at 6, and he's been great so far, and I think he's going to continue to be great. So, but then let me ask you this: do you expect anything out of the rookies between Porter Martone and Jack Nesbitt?
I think they're going to have good seasons. Hockey is one of those things where you got to get your feet wet. Mitch Goff is like
a rare example.
Like you got to be like a fair example of like one of those people who are just born to play the sport. Because we have Luchenko, who was also an early pick last year. You saw how he was. He wasn't a big name. But this year I feel like Luchenko could be one of those bigger names. But I feel like once they get their groove and everything, I think they'll be a problem in the league.
Yeah. I think they can make instant impacts. I really like the Porter Martone pick. I think he's going to be great here. He could really be part of this future foundation. And then they gave a guy like Jack Nesbitt a chance. Obviously, everyone thought it was a questionable pick at the time because they gave up a lot to get him to trade back up at 12 or 13, I believe. But if he turns out to be well, then the past few years, Danny Briere is looking really good in his drafts, and he's really building that young core. So, but then let me end you off with this, talking about Danny Briere. Do you expect him to make any major moves during the season, or can we maybe expect that after the season, depending on how everything goes?
I think you could see a few moves during season, especially toward the trade deadline, because I think the Flyers will be sellers. They're going toward the future. So Danny is going to do anything in his power that can set them up. Even if it's right after the season, before free agency, where he's trying to get picks or free up space to sign these guys. But Danny's that guy. If he knows you're on the market and he wants to, he's going to go get you.
Yeah. And we obviously saw that, obviously a few years ago when they traded Sean Walker to the Colorado Avalanche when they were sellers, and they got I think they got a first for him. And then obviously last year, he traded Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost to the Calgary Flames, and then traded Scott Laughton to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he's wheeling and dealing these guys from the cores, and he's trying to build his own core. He's trying to build the new era of Orange. They're saying the new era of Philadelphia Flyers hockey, and I love it. I mean, he's another player who knows what's going on, and then obviously he's got Keith Jones right there with him. I think they've built a great nucleus between the two of them, and I think they're only putting the Flyers in the right direction from what they've done so far, and I think what they're going to continue to do. If they can finish middle of the pack in the Metro and be in line for a top 10 pick, I'm happy at the end of the day, because I'm not expecting anything crazy. You keep bringing in these young guys, and a majority of them are gonna pan out, you had that young core, you had the veterans like Konechny, Owen Tippett will be there, Jamie Drysdale, Cam Euro, Travis Sanheim, all those guys, you build them all together and have that veteran and young core togetherness, it's only going to lead to success and hopefully playoff success. So it remains to be seen what will happen, but is there any final thoughts you want to give on what you want to about the Flyers as a whole?
No, I'm just looking forward to a good season. I'm looking forward to just watching Flyers hockey again.
Same here. So we're going to wrap up the show as we usually do. Joe, do you just want to give them a roadmap of what to expect the rest of the week?
Roadmap is, everybody knows, Game 3 elimination game for the Phillies tomorrow night. If they get eliminated, we're either going to do a live reaction right after the game. I'm sure if they lose, I might be happy just so I'm done with the headache that I'm watching through the past few weeks. However, I would definitely be screaming, so just a forewarning if we do end up doing that. But if not, we're definitely going to give our post-game, post-series reactions at some point. If they win and they go to Thursday, you can expect the same result, depending on if they lose Thursday night, being an elimination game. Then obviously, if they win that, they play at home in Philly Saturday at the Bank. And then you could definitely expect a post-series recap then, because then there will be no more games. If the Phillies do end up sweeping out the Dodgers here, going 3-2, that would be great. But then other than that, you have the Eagles-Giants Thursday night. Zach has his score predictions that he always drops on YouTube Shorts. Make sure you click into them and on Instagram Reels. And then we're just going to give you your Eagle breakdown Fridays. And pretty soon, we're going to do this Flyers Talk Friday. So me and Zach have been trying to set somewhat of a schedule for you guys. We're thinking Monday or Tuesday, we can do a Eagles recap or an NFL recap in general. Friday talk, it's going to be the Flyers. And during the week will be like hot news, like if anything around Philly sports, like Temple, Villanova, Penn State go off, we will do something about them. The Sixers, we'll talk about here and there when they start playing regular season ball. We may have a pre-season talk like we are now with the Flyers, but we just have a lot of good news and stories to show you. Hopefully a lot more interviews with fans after the good turnout we had on Sunday. And, yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah, I think he summed it up pretty perfectly. Like I said, I would like to, like I did on Instagram, I'm just going to do this now. I like to thank you guys so much for all the support you gave us over this weekend. We hope to continue this in the future. And obviously, Joe, I want to give you a round of applause for what you did. I think you did a great job interviewing those people on Sunday. You really gave the energy, and people showed up because of it. So, and obviously, Joe's willing to do anything. He obviously got wrecked. How are you feeling, Joe?
That's cool. That's my boy Schmitty. Case still saw that video. No, it wasn't a stranger hitting me. It's somebody I've been tailgating with since I was 5. So sorry if that upsets some of you. I know a lot of you enjoyed me getting hit.
Yeah, but obviously we enjoyed them. We got to interview some cool people from England, which was cool. But like he said, we hope to continue this in the future. Possibly, not likely. If the Phillies somehow come back here, maybe we can plan something to get down there. We will see. But it's barely not likely they're going to even get to that point. And then obviously the Eagles interviews went pretty well. I'm hoping we'll possibly do that more in the future, depending on how everything goes. And if you want us to do anything, let us know. Like I said, we
have a poll on Instagram. Y'all ever want to hear something specific? Me and Zach will go through all those polls, and maybe on Instagram we'll have a question up on there. What do you want us to talk about today? We're looking for ideas.
Yeah. And just wrapping it up, thanks again for the support. Always appreciated. And like I said, just keep tuning in. Hope content's getting better and better. The more we work, the more ideas you give us, the more you guys want to see what we're talking about, the more we're going to put in to give you guys the best effort and the best work we have possible. So, but overall, thank you guys for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed, and enjoy the rest of your night, and we will probably see you later this week, giving our thoughts about the Phillies and completely blasting them, most likely when they lose this series. So
Yes. Stay tuned, too. Get to 200 followers on Instagram. I will have to do a punishment, so please get that follower count up if you want me to do a punishment.
Yep. And we obviously got a lot over the weekend, so get them to 200 because if I had to do milk, Joe's got to do something too. So stay tuned for that. But we will see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you guys.